Here's what we could have done.
Okay, yes, solutions. I love that, yeah.
One, we have the Tyler movie. The Tyler movie is going to be in cinemas.
Hey, that's pushing it too much also now, don't you think?
I think
She's already all over our faces now. You are tired of Tyler.
The South Africans must see our people.
No, but why is South Africa allowing allowing Channel O to play Kanye West?
No. Channel O does. Okay, so here's the thing. And I love that you said this.
You get what I'm saying?
I love that you said this, yeah.
Play MT only.
Hold on.
Because MT is not playing in America.
Yeah, but
Saudi tried that.
Yeah, but okay, this is what I'm saying, right?
What gave you the confidence or the balls to come to Open Chats podcast? Because the nature of the conversations you do, I don't know if you are aware what happens in this podcast. It really goes down.
No, I'm not. So here's my chat. And I said this to somebody. I said, the sad part about it is that if we don't vote correctly, right? If things don't change after this election, it's chai for South Africa. I'm not being cocky and saying vote for Mpho or vote for no. I'm saying let young people lead. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we still have the same 60-year-olds in parliament after this election, but Elon Musk is also an Elon being.
He's operating that one.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's not operating the way you think. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg.
Julius Malema.
Sit down with him.
ANC.
Pray for them. So like when we get to TV, we usually get in. And the moment we get in, they're like, sign in. Let's go. Put them into makeup quickly. Wow, time. What's running? Yeah.
So we need to improve them.
It's a whole series, yeah.
No, we need to work on makeup. You see, they get makeup on TV, so we need to.
No, but I think for me, I resonate more with the podcast.
With podcasts,
because I mean, TV, when you go there, you're going to a funded human being who's on a job.
Okay.
So you kind of know that they might not care about you. It's a producer that went in there. No relationship is built. The conversation is always centered. So I always find that podcasts are a bit better because that way you get to meet people. And I've started my own podcast. So
I saw. I'll let you know when you've started. I'm just warming up the energy between us. That's what I'm doing right now. I'll let you know.
I thought we've already started.
No. Because I know
the best interviews are before they say action.
I know. Yeah, that's actually how we normally do the interviews as well. Because once you tell people that we're starting now, they normally
it becomes.
Yeah. The reason I'm not starting is because is everything sorted, guys. I hear Blessing is saying something. Is everything good? Okay. With the TV thing, with the makeup chats, aren't you naturally curious to see did she do a good job? Like that would be my insecurity. Do I look how I normally look with the makeup and everything?
Yeah, look, I think I've had friends sit me down and explain to me that the makeup thing is a thing.
It's a thing, okay.
I've come to kind of like accept it for what it is, and I'm now.
You're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm used to it to a point where I bought my own.
Is it?
I asked a friend of mine to buy me my own.
Your own set.
Because, you get to realize that about 13 people go to SABC in one show, like a morning show. All of them use the same
set. Okay.
So a friend of mine was like, listen, get your own. And got my own. And but what I've really noticed, it doesn't really make a difference.
Doesn't make a difference.
It's not.
Because the reason I'm asking you is this: we get a lot of girls that come. Open Chats podcast. We get a lot of girls over, and they. I thought you were laughing. do you know the podcast? Have you seen what it's about?
Saw it a couple of weeks back.
Okay. Yeah, and sometimes a common complaint with the girl, they normally come back after recording. They're like, "Yo, I'm not so happy with how I look with the makeup." You check. And luckily as guys, because we don't put makeup, we don't have those complaints.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the conversation is always to say, look, the viewers dictate how people should look. And what I've been told is that on TV, everybody's got different screens. So some screens do show, like your HD screens do show. But I think on YouTube, we're all kind of watching on our phones, on our laptops. I'm not quite sure that there are too many people that are watching on a QLED high definition.
To see that much detail.
But I guess we must prepare for that, I think.
Yeah. But I think to be honest with you, I think they do quite a lot watch on on TV now, because I feel like TV is slowly replacing the cable TV, the
Yes,
DSTV.
the DSTVs, yeah.
Every time I visit friends watching the podcast, what I notice is they actually watch it on TVs, and I'm shocked. Like, it's a common thing I'm seeing. Like, people are watching YouTube the way we used to consume DSTV.
DSTV. No. That's very true. I had chats with somebody yesterday, and we were just talking about Twitter versus YouTube.
Okay.
And he was basically talking about how it's important to trend on Twitter and all that stuff. And I said to him that, look, Ben, YouTube is the only platform where people don't create fake accounts. Like, why would you create a fake account on YouTube? On Twitter, I've heard amongst the youth, I would want to ask, our audience here in the podcast. Apparently, people have got a burner account to stalk their exes. They've got a catfish account for their Tinders or whatever they do. And they've got like other accounts where they watch stuff they shouldn't be watching. And they've got their real account.
Of course. You know, it's sorry to cut you. It's crazy what's happened with Twitter. Twitter's a very dark space. And what gives them the right to voice out things they wouldn't say on Instagram and Facebook is because they're hiding behind those fake accounts.
Exactly, yeah. And I was saying to this guy that, look, I think the reason why YouTube is the future is because nobody creates a fake account, firstly, right? And also, nobody watches, and from that watching, they don't. So, for example, on TikTok and on Twitter, it's a lot of scroll watching. Nobody scroll watches podcasts.
On like YouTube, you don't go every.
You've got your favorite podcast. You turn on notification and you watch it. So I really think that they've really built a very good engine on YouTube, and I think YouTube is the long game. I believe that YouTube is the new TV. Look, I think Twitter will work for news on the go, because I think even if there's a tsunami, you can't sit
instant
down.
News. You can't.
So Twitter will work for instant news, but I think in the long run, I see YouTube winning this attention game.
Look, before we start, I have this genuine question. It's something that I've been struggling with, and I think you're the best person to ask this.
We haven't started?
Yeah, we've started. We've started. Yeah. I'm saying before we get into the intro and everything and the chunks of it, I want to ask you this, because I'd imagine the amount of uncertainty, the amount of stress, the amount of curiosity you go through in this journey you currently on, you understand? And the reason I'm saying it's a question for me is I struggle to let things slide. It could be a minor thing, but I end up not sleeping at night. It bothers me. So with you, I can just imagine the things you are exposed to, the amount of pressure, anxiety. How do you handle such things, bro? How do you remain okay? How do you sleep at night with everything going on in the political journey?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very deep question.
Yeah.
And I think, the first thing that I'd want to start off is understanding that I wasn't quite aware that politics is much more spiritual than it is a normal thing that people experience. I think it's very spiritual, because what you're basically doing is you're controlling the minds of the people. The good guys are trying to do it, and the bad guys are trying to do it. And I think for me, what I quickly got to realize is that these guys go to any lengths to do it.
To do whatever it takes to get
to control the minds, I spoke to one guy about politics, and I said to him, I'm going to politics. And he's like, how many sangomas have you seen? How many sacrifices have you done? How many bodies have you killed? Have you been to Nigeria to see this person? Have you been to... And I'm like, no, I haven't. Like,
you're doing this yourself as you are.
And I'm just like, I just pray. Like, I just pray to God, and God guide me and lead me. Read my Bible, and that's it. And he's like, hey, Baba.
That's not good enough.
What you're doing, he's like, you need to go and see Usman Ban to do this, Usman Ban to do that, Uban Ban, kill this person and do that, and a goat.
That's how it works.
Go and see this guy who's... And I'm like, what? And I think every day while I'm doing it, I'm beginning to realize that, that's the reason why so many people don't even think about politics. Because it's so spiritual to the point where the people that have power, every day they're going to their sangoma. It's a war, They're going to their voodoo master and they're saying, give me more.
But you know what I've learned? I wouldn't say it's necessarily just politics. I think it's a life thing. You know what I've noticed? You'll think it's politics. I've got a footballing background. Guess what footballers do? They do the same thing.
Yeah.
And you look at business people, and guess what business people do? It's it's that natural human need to have something, a higher power to rely on. It's just that I would imagine in politics, it's just at a crazier level for that reason, you know.
Yeah, look, I think the difference is in football, people would go get these powers, right?
Yeah.
So that they can play well on the field, which makes some sense because someone is playing well on the field, right? But for politics, it's the other way around. It's so that when they lie to people, people believe them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference because nobody's going to say they're going to go to a Sangoma so the Sangoma can make them score a goal when they didn't let their foot touch the ball. We won't get that. But in politics, these guys sit down and they're like, guys, we're going to go steal. Then they're like, let's go fill up a stadium and tell people we're going to give them jobs. We're going to change their lives, but we're going to go steal, you know? And they say to these guys that, hey, make sure that whatever word I say, people believe, they follow, they go and vote, you know? And then you come with honest intentions. You've prayed, you just believe that God is with you. And you're like, guys, for us to create jobs, the first thing we need to do is question. And people are like, question? Who? How? Why am I questioning, you know? And the other guys are just using everything that they've got to use or whatever they use to control the minds of the people. So for me, really, it's been saying it's this battle of truth and falsehood, you know, to be like, that's the big difference that I've realized. Because in other industries, at least people have to prove themselves. You're not going to get employed in a soccer team if you're not scoring goals.
I feel you,
you know?
yeah.
But in politics, there are people who have been stealing year after year after year.
And they still there.
Year after year, they're still there, you know. So for me, I think it's been one of those experiences where I'm like, this is very spiritual.
But then just we close it quickly. I haven't gotten an answer. How do you deal with
stress?
Oh yes,
stress, anxiety? You understand threats and all those things.
Look, I think one, music has played a very good role in my life. I listen to a lot of gospel.
Oh, gospel music.
Yeah,
okay.
but it's not like, because I've heard people listen to gospel and like people's gospel is like someone will say they listen to gospel and the gospel is like, oh, I'm a sinner, I'm asking for forgiveness. And it's like, okay, but interesting. I mean, yeah. But my gospel is very like war cry, you know, sort of like very upbeat, you know, type of gospel.
Okay,
like the songs I listen to are very like, you know, they're different from what people listen to.
I'm thinking already when you're mentioning Christian rap, something along those lines, no?
I mean, yeah, there is some Christian rap. There's a song about being a champion that I listen to. There is, but not really Christian, very like war cry type of songs.
Okay.
Like, yeah, very like,
spiritual
you know,
warfare kind of songs.
Yeah, spiritual warfare kind of songs where you really like clog in, you know. And I have my own space where I like every morning before I do anything, I like blast music and clog in, you know, and like meditate. And
I bumped into a crazy quote recently. It said, inability to cope with stress and tension leads to the usage of vices. You understand? And I was like, that is so powerful. If you don't have the ability to cope with stress and anxiety, that's how you're going to start binging in alcohol, womanizing and everything. And I was like, that's why I'm asking you about that. But anyways, how's it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to another special episode on Open Chats podcast. Today's episode is extremely, extremely special. With us today is, I would say greatness, man. You're a guy with a lot of very, very admirable qualities. I heard you were a millionaire before 30. You're into the Bitcoin space and you are currently in the political landscape in South Africa. One of the youngest runners is at the ballot. I hope my jargon is correct. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with us today is Mpho Dagada. Dagada. I actually tried to get it right because I heard you Venda, right? Yeah. Today with us is Mr. Mpho, guys, from Arise, South African new political movement with youthful energy, with crazy ideas. And I'll be very, very honest. This episode was largely influenced by Manana. When she told me a politician, she's trying to arrange something with politics, from the top of my head, I was against it for one reason. I was like, you know what's going to happen? Politicians are all trying to sell themselves as the great people. They all do the same thing. It's a game of marketing. And then when they in power, they all do the same thing. So what I would love to do with you, especially because you've been on a lot of podcasts, I would love us to have an honest conversation, open chats, you understand? I would love to get to know more about you, what makes you different, what is Arise all about, and more than anything, I am very, very much intrigued by where does this 30-year-old get the confidence to enter such a crazy, critical, the most dangerous sports in the world? Where does a South African 30-year-old get the guts and confidence to think, you know what, this is my time to penetrate such a very, very sensitive game? That's what I would love us to have a conversation about today. But before we go any further, just a brief intro about yourself. Who is Mpho? And where is this fire coming from? You understand? Because I'll be honest with you. I'm sorry this is a very long intro. I want to be very, very honest with you. When I hear that a 30-year-old is running for politics, from the top of my head, I'm thinking, this one is trying to get a bag. You understand? That's because it's the truth. Our generation is one of the most corrupt people. You understand? So
I would disagree, but okay.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Please. Why would you disagree? I'm very open to have that conversation before we go further.
Look, I think we need to phrase it properly.
Okay.
The youth are trying to get a bag. Because when you look at a political party, it's all of us are trying to get in. And I think that we must be honest about it. We must be real about it. We deserve this bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
We deserve the bag.
Yeah, we deserve the bag.
When I'm saying they're trying to get a bag, this is what I'm trying to say. Our generation, with the modernization of everything, we are a generation that is largely influenced with instant gratification. We're trying to get such shortcuts. And I'm not saying the elders are the most moral people because of what they've done with their current political parties, but I feel like the standard of morality has dropped with our generation. You see this in how our age mates run business. And what do I mean? We no longer give credit to where it deserves, but everything is about who I know. You understand? That nepotism, that connection, that corruption level. I feel like we're on that wave. And that would be my first question
You're
to you.
describing the old guys in the ANC.
Is
okay,
it?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, the guys the way you're describing, I'm like,
that's
okay,
how they move
I
in.
can count them.
Okay. But
Please don't.
But my question is, how can we get that faith from you that you will move different?
Look, I think the problem with politics in South Africa is we've been told that politicians are there to like build us schools and like build a toilet and like fix the water and really that's not what politicians are supposed to do.
Okay.
Politicians are supposed to make you rich.
Is it?
That's important.
That's a new intake. Okay.
The way you should judge a politician is, did this guy make me richer? When you were in power, what did I have in my bank account?
Okay.
If I had more, I'm definitely going to vote for you. If I had less, let him go. I'm poorer.
You didn't do a good job.
You didn't do a good job, yeah. Because, water, lights, toilets, these are basics.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be judging politicians on things that are basic.
They
like,
should be
those
provided.
things should be there, yeah. Let's talk about guap. Let's talk about young people, And for me, I want to be judged by when I'm in power. Young people should say, how many billionaires did this guy create?
Okay.
To say, they should be names of people that you can count and say, when Mpho was president, this guy in this industry became a billionaire. Because when a billionaire is created, many millionaires are created, right? You can't have a billionaire become a billionaire alone. It's not possible. So the billionaire's got somebody who's building his houses. Somebody's become a construction millionaire.
Yes.
The billionaire's got somebody who's selling him cars. Somebody's got a car industry there. The billionaire's got a team that's protecting him. There's a security company or security tender there. The billionaire's got entertainment. Maybe there's a club there. Maybe there's a restaurant there. The billionaire's got a favorite sports team that he's sponsoring. There are people that are getting jobs from that sponsorship. The billionaire is into some weird fetish of grooming white horses. There's a veterinary and a farm that's benefiting there. The billionaire employs people. There are people that are benefiting there. So I think we need to get out of the lie. And I mean, that's what I hate about politics. If somebody's ever going to say to me as a politician, I need to build your toilet, I mean, you've really set the bar very low, Let's talk about building industrialists. Let's talk about creating young people that are going to be billionaires, because in America, they are. Mark Zuckerberg's a billionaire.
Do you think the current economic space, the current political space of South Africa is optimized to efficiently produce more wealthy people? And if not, what are the problems stopping that? What's limiting that in your opinion?
Look, I think, so first thing first, we've got about 2 trillion worth of minerals in our country. Right?
Yes.
This is gold, silver. platinum, vanadium, titanium, manganese. And whenever I ask young people, my first question that I ask every young person is to say, which mineral do you own? Right? And the room's quiet, like everybody's like,
Of
"Hi,
course,
Bo."
yeah.
Ask that question in Europe or China maybe. And I'm like, why? The minerals are here in Africa. Why should I ask this question in Europe or China? They're like, well, we don't know. They're the ones that have minerals. We don't know anything about minerals. I'm like, where do you come from? That's my next question. And the person's like, well, come from Victoria. Or they say, I come from Limpopo. And I say, well, in Limpopo, there's chromium. In Limpopo, there's graphite. Elon Musk bought a mine in Limpopo.
Is it?
There's this, yeah.
Oh.
And they immediately say, well, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, they want you not to know that. You're part of the problem. They don't want you to know that. So I definitely think that we have to educate young people to tell them that, hey, you guys are rich. But the issue here is that there's somebody who's stealing your money. Who's stealing your money? It's definitely the politicians. And the only way that you can get your money back is by letting them know that, hey, I'm going to judge you differently. I'm not going to judge you on jobs or toilets or things. I'm going to judge you on the GDP, the money I made, the productions that I did. I'm talking about the media space or whatever space you're in. The guap I made should be an indication of whether I'm keeping you in government or not. And if I'm poorer, if my wealth drops by even 1%, I will not vote for you. And that should be the culture, I think.
Got you 100%. I have this question. The war you want to fight is it's a generational war. It's an historic war. You're not just fighting politicians. And I think you do know that some of these politicians do go in with the right intentions. Everyone goes in as Mpho. Well, not everyone. There are those that obviously know what they're wanting to do. But there's a lot. I actually even saw you saying, it's actually an old interview of yourself, a previous interview. You said Julius Malema initially, when he went on, he had a different conversation than what he has now. Meaning, it's like something's happened in the spaces and that has changed his conversation. Where am I going with this? I'm trying to say, Mpho, what makes you think, why you? Why do you think you specifically can turn around something that has been there for generation? And are you aware of who you're trying to fight?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the question is a perfect question to say why me? And let's analyze it, right?
Okay.
Let's break it down a little bit more because I think a lot of times young people don't know what happens, right?
Okay.
So it's 1994. These guys were fighting apartheid. I'm gonna try use language that open chats viewers
No,
understand.
it's fine. Feel free,
So
my
I
brother.
won't be
This
I won't
is
be too
open
political.
chats. It's fine. It's fine. We've got very
I'm gonna
educated.
break it down, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm trying to run away from the fact that everybody's listening to political jargon, and I needed to like make sense, right?
Yeah, I won't lie. Sorry to catch you. Even Manana was sending me the scripts. There was a word they said collision. I was like, this one is too much now. So please do simple it up for us. Yeah.
So people are fighting for the country, right? We're 1993, everybody's fighting for the country. And what happens is while everybody else is fighting, Cyril gets called by these white families. And they're like, dude, you guys are going to win, right? But when you win, we can't make everybody rich, or we can't give everybody the land. We can't give them everything. This thing that everybody wants is not possible. We'll give you guys money, but we'll give some of you money, the ones we like, right? And Cyril gets to start speaking Afrikaans and hang around these people, and they give him mines, right? He's got mines, billions, right? Where Cyril sits at the moment, he's from 1994 till date, he's been living in the comfort of the apartheid regime benefits.
Is
From
it?
his school.
Yeah, the mines that he owns, you know, everything. I mean, money is not an issue, right? He's not the only one. A lot of these guys have been living in that way, right? And for me, this is where the problem comes. Once you turn 60 years old, do you still have the energy to fight and change things? I mean, let's be honest. If you guys had to ask your grandparents to change the economy, I mean, if your own grandparents can't do it, why are you expecting Cyril, who's 70, to be able to do it? The man's chilling there and he's like, guys, I hear it. Mpho's right.
Yeah.
Mpho's right. He's telling the truth. But I'm not going to fight that. I'm 70. I'm about to die. Let me mend my cows. People are telling me I must be in politics. Okay, I'll read speeches. They write speeches for him. He reads speeches. The dude is in his pension. I mean, it's like expecting your own grandparents to be able to figure out an algorithm. Your grandparents are going to be like, no, like, I'm okay. Like, I'm chilled, you know?
Are you hinting that with the age on your side, that brings a new competitive advantage.
It does. And I want to bring it now closer, right? So let's take an Mpho. I'm 30 years old, right? And these guys come to me and they're like, okay, Mpho, we'll give you $1 billion. Not everybody can be rich. Stop talking about changing lives and, just keep the status quo going, right? The first thing I'm going to say is, look, I became a millionaire at 21, right? And when I became a millionaire, I was in UJ. Everybody around me was poor.
You didn't go to tax shift.
No, I went to
But anyways, go on.
I was accepted at tax. I didn't go to tax.
Okay.
And I didn't go to tax because I've always thought Pretoria is not the economic hub. I knew I had to be in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is there's nobody who's our age who can get rich and get rich alone. If they're coming to me at this age, I'm first thinking and saying, guys, I've still got another 40 years to live. I'm not going to be the guy who's going to betray every young person in this country. And they will know that this guy sold out the mission and continue just to chill. I'm not going to die soon. I'm going to have to live here. Even if I move to America, they'll all remember that, oh, he was here and he did nothing. By the way, my friends are not saying to me, dude, take the bag and run. My friends are saying, dude, as young people, we're going through too much. And they're like, whatever you do, make sure that this economy works for everybody. So what I'm saying is we as young people are expecting a 70-year-old man to fight for us, who has billions that he was given, while we chill and smoke humbly. And this man comes to us and he's like, guys, do this. And we're like, nah, we'd rather do this. And by some miracle, we're like, oh, just do the right thing for us. Think about opportunities, fund podcasts, Cyril. And he's
please.
He's like, what's a podcast? They're
that
like,
one is good.
They're like, it's a radio. He's like, nah, I'm not interested in the radio. I want to go farming,
Yeah.
And for me, I honestly think that a lot of those guys are watching young people and they're like, ish, some of these young people are on the right track. But at the same time, they're like, we can't do anything. We're too old. And I think that's the issue. We don't have the stress of apartheid. We are not afraid of white people. We don't see white people as superior. I mean, I often tell people that, hey, for me, Elon Musk is just another guy. I'm not saying, whoa, dude, you can build stuff that I could never build. And I'm like, no, just another guy. We could match what he's doing, So the conversation for me is to say the difference between a young leader and them is that we are still in tune with what's going on. Irregardless, we still go on Twitter every day. People like Cyril don't go on Twitter. I mean, he just gets a report to be like, there are people on Twitter who are saying that they are suffering. And he's like, the people on Twitter, are they going to affect the economy? They're like, no, they're not at the JSC, they're on Twitter. He's like, okay, leave them. It's okay.
Can I stop you a bit? Sorry. You see, you're speaking about we should trust you simply because you're young. You can think long term. That's what I'm getting. I have a few things to throw. And again, no offense intended. This is genuinely an open chat.
Yeah.
You're speaking about the youth being able to push for the people. That's Duduzane Zuma. You know what happened there.
Okay.
He was a guy who was allegedly in a position to take care of the youth. You know what happened. You see, the reason, I'll say allegedly, he partnered with the big boys. You see. Then secondly, this one is personal to you. I saw that you are somewhat affiliated with Sandile Shezi, a guy who has the same reputation as you. He was once an early millionaire, and I think we all know what's happened with him. Those things put me in a compromising position as far as trusting your knowledge of saying the youth will take care of us simply because they're young.
I like those hard-hitting questions, and let's dig into them so that we get to understand them. So I think the first thing first is for us to realize that we're not just dealing with, and I don't want to insult people, because my issue with insulting people is you end up saying things that, hey, they don't come across in the right way, right?
Okay.
But
we may sound politically correct.
yes, but I mean, since you've opened it up, let's open it up, right?
Thank you.
So you're saying something that I think is very important. Why should we trust young people when we have a lot of young people that have made mistakes, right? Cool, great. When Nelson Mandela came out of prison, right, or in Nelson Mandela's time, right, there were a lot of people that felt that Nelson Mandela made mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people that felt he didn't do things correctly.
Of course.
Thabo Mbeki, same thing. A lot of people felt these guys made mistakes, they didn't do things correctly. And throughout history, every leader you look at, there's a lot of people that felt that these guys didn't do things correctly, they made mistakes. No disagreement,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
Duduzane. I am not sure about what transpired in terms of the finer details. But however, for me, number one, I always find that what he stands for, his ideologies and his policies have never been clear from day one.
Okay.
And I don't find that he's not running for politics at the current moment. He's out of the game.
Is he out? Sorry. Is
All
he?
game changers, I'm not sure. Hey?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
out.
okay,
They are. As far as I know, they're no longer running.
yeah.
I don't know if somebody can fact check that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the story there. So with Duduzane, I don't want to speak much, right?
With your
Sandile.
chairman, he's your
Yeah.
chairman, right?
No, he isn't.
What is he in the?
He's a
right?
member of the political
Oh, he's just
party.
a member.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So I followed Sandile's story from the beginning, right? And for me, the interesting thing with Sandile was always to say, cool, young black man got into Forex and he revolutionized the Forex industry, right? Lots of people came up and said, listen, they scams, he scammed people, this, that, and the other, right? I sat down with him and I said, dude, what happened, right? And he explained to me the stories of what happened, right? And in the explanations, I found that there were mistakes that were done, right? On his side and on other people's side. But I found that there was never an intention of criminality that was proven in the court, right? And to say this, to say for me, when he explained that, he also said to me, look, I don't want people to taint the party and say the party is now dealing with somebody who's got accusations and whatever. And he said, look, I'd want to step back and support the political party, but I don't want to be involved, right? In terms of being at the forefront. He said, I'd rather step back. And I respected that. But let me bring it to me, right? Because I think it will make a better example, right? I've been involved in cryptocurrency, right? There have been cryptocurrencies that did very badly, extremely badly. Some of them did very well. I mean, Bitcoin's over R1 million. Some of them failed, right? Some of them that we thought were going to do very well did not do very well. They crumbled, right? For me, what I always found is people always say to me to say, because you introduced the Bitcoin industry to us and we lost money in the Bitcoin industry.
They blame it on you.
You are the problem, right? Or somebody will get scammed. Someone will say, hey, I'm Mpho, I'll trade for you. They give them the money, they get scammed, and they say, you are the problem, right? And for me, really, the justification around it has been we need to explain more and educate more. But most importantly, we also need to hear both sides of the story, right? Because I've had people that have claimed that because of this cryptocurrency didn't do well, Mpho's the problem. And I'm like, no, it's the cryptocurrency that was the problem. So in this generation, what I'm getting to is that a lot of the times we've got a lot of things that we can assess and look at. Were there some things that were wrong? Did young people make mistakes? Yeah, of course. Some of them made big mistakes, right? Does that discredit them as a leader? I don't think so. I don't think it discredits them at all. I think we all make mistakes. But if I am speaking for myself, what I would say is we need to start judging people on results that they do in politics, rather or other than just based on mistakes that have been made that didn't have anything to do with the political landscape. That would matter. And I accept that my answer might not be a good enough answer.
Yes, because I'm trying to get the detail. Reason is, what I understand with Sandile was this. He's a Forex trader. The first red flag, when I looked into his story, you do know the guy he partnered with, the white guy who was funding him. That guy had, he was from, I think, American origin, and he was already had fraud rumors surrounding him in America, and he partnered with Sandile here in South Africa, and he used Sandile as the front to run the operations, you see. And when you get so many people complaining about the same person, the common story with Sandile is he took people's monies, he returned a few promised returns to gain trust, to lure them to offer more money, you understand? It's more like you come to me and say, Mpho, give me 5,000, I'll give you 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, just to simplify everything, my understanding. Then he does return the 2,000 just to open my appetite so that I can give in more. And people have lost their retirement savings, what I've heard. And when you do finally put in the big lump sum,
It all goes
then
away.
at the end you are told that, hey, you signed the documents. Forex is a very, very it's a risky market. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. It's open to risk. So I'm trying to say, when you have a guy with so many people complaining about him, I get very skeptical when he's now part of a political party. You understand?
Look, so
And it makes it worse if I'm also told the president himself is also in the cryptocurrency space, Forex. please explain that for
Already
me
you're
with
like,
details. Yeah.
No. I think what you're saying is very warranted. So firstly, maybe let me say this to say, Usandile was very clear with us and honest with us to say, guys, I'm dealing with this. I love what you're doing. I'd want to be a part of it, right? And I sat down and I had the conversation with him. So where we stand, he's not, the chairman of Arise South Africa. So I think we can park that conversation because I also don't want to answer for certain things, and I believe that everybody should have a right to reply for him to come and reply on that, right? But what I've understood and what I've heard is different, right? Maybe the one that I would want to indulge you on is the cryptocurrency one, because then you can say, right, Mpho, we've heard this, and then we can talk about that. I think that's
rightfully so.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you currently struggling with right now? Is there anything you feel like the youth would help in what you're looking to achieve? Is there anything you're not currently happy with from the side? Because there's a platform with a lot of youth. Is there anything you want to say to shed light to them? In like one of the craziest thing I recently discovered, Manana was telling me before we record, she was like, do you know that actually there's a statistic that says if the youth of South Africa can all unitedly join and vote for one party, that party automatically gets majority and wins. And I'm telling you, this is the right platform. If you convince me to get those votes, and the reason I'm saying me, I'm a representation of all the 100,000 subscribers we have, and I'm saying this is a platform, the youth. What would you say is your... I lost my train of thought. You get what I mean?
No, but I get you completely.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you remind me of what the elders do, but they don't have to speak. They just have to show up. Like, when Cyril goes to like ZCC and it's like, Tobela, and all of them are like, we're going to vote.
That's all it does. Yeah, I got you.
So imagine, now I have to come and say podcast. I have to come and convince. I have to come and, why can't I just come and...
Why do you have to do so much? I get you.
I'm joking, but yeah. Look, I think the first thing that I would want young people to do, well, personally, to help me, right? So I have this thing behind my mind to say, if the deep state, and because I think you asked me what am I struggling with, and I want to start there. If the deep state and if these guys really want to stop me from what I'm doing, right? I think one of the things that they're going to try and do is arrest me.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Because when you look at how things worked back in the day, they arrested Nelson Mandela, and when he came out of prison, he was not as strong as he was.
Same.
And you look at Africa and you look at how they deal with people in Zimbabwe, they arrest them. And when you come out of prison, you're so broken because the people outside didn't fight that you just become, it's like they've made you numb, And now when I'm coming out of prison, I'll be saying things like, young people, just go and fall a line and fill in a form for Nasi Spani. Let's appreciate what the elders are doing. And people are wondering, what did they do to him?
Are you scared of possibly being arrested?
Look, I think I'm very concerned about it.
Is it a possibility?
I think it might be.
Have you done things that would...
Look, I don't think it's about having done things. I think it's easy in this country for the wheels of justice to just happen. It's we've seen these things happen. There are leaders in the past that were just... what did Nelson Mandela do for him to be arrested? What did all these leaders, what did they do for them to be arrested?
Robert Sobukwe, Chris Hani.
You don't really have to do anything. They could plan something, they could... And remember, if you're arrested, their hope is that the people out there will not do anything to get you out. So their hope is once you're in solitary confinement, they can come to you and be like, you want to go out? You want to be released? We can release you. We can help you. But the moment you leave here, you stop this and that and that and that. And immediately you find that everything is now destroyed. Because, look, killing a person is very difficult. Because the moment...
Is it? Because, not sorry to catch you. I would think if you're opposition and I'm a big boy, I think the first thing I would do to get rid of you is not to arrest you, but to stage an accident or... And you're saying that's difficult.
The evidence will always be there. Yeah. The evidence will always be there, number one. And number two, there are certain people that are very difficult to kill just based on the fact that the people they are talking to will see it for what it is and retaliate. right? So a lot of, if I'm killed tomorrow and I'm running for president of South Africa, everybody will say South Africa's no longer credible. Like we had somebody who was running and they were killed and the police are saying they can't find the bullets. It's not a thing, right? But if somebody had to deposit money into my account and say, hey, Mpho did a cash in transit heist, and like there's some conspiracy to be like, oh, he did do it, it's him. Yeah, he's arrested.
Okay.
Immediately, that's easier. And if people are like, well, he did it, yep, let him rot in jail, then that's easier. So I think that's my first concern to say, if ever the youth had to hear that I'm arrested, what I will ask from the youth is interrogate and ensure that justice prevails quickly. Because that's one way that I see that they've used on many leaders. And it's
a common trend.
It's a common trend, yeah. The second thing that I'm saying is that young people, let's be money hungry.
You think we're not?
Yeah, no. We're not enough.
We're
not enough. Yeah. We're not enough.
Are we trying to push also?
No. Let's and let me put it this way. When you've got 2 trillion worth of minerals in your country, gold, silver, diamond, vanadium, titanium, platinum. Guys, we can't be hungry and we're taking Instagram selfies and we're out here pouting and then we're saying to the world that we're hungry. No. We need to go to these mines and be like, guys, if we're not going to get a share of this mineral on the ground, we're not leaving. And people are like, what do you mean? And we're like, as young people, we've just told you that we're not going to leave.
But how can we do to access that market? Because you're saying we're into Instagram, selfies, and I've been hard on this podcast that they've got us all. I have this crazy analogy that the higher powers have got this crazy way to get the black community stuck up into the same thing. We all want to be musicians, we all want to be influencers, we all want to be athletes.
You're right.
But my question is, the reason I would never dream about minerals, I don't even know where to start. There's a limitation of capital. That's the first thing. I don't need capital to be an influencer.
And here's the chat, right? The chat is, they want you to think like that, right? If you look at a video in South Africa of a mining machine, right? The algorithm is programmed for you not to see it.
Is it?
It will not trend. It will not do well. But let there be a dance challenge. The algorithm will completely blast it out. And what I'm saying is that the powers that be that make money from this country, and I was saying to guys that every single day we have about 10 billion that leaves this country, rand, in terms of minerals and more, right? The powers that be will not stop until they've taken it all out.
Okay.
What we need to do
is
we need to ensure that we ask the right questions, but also act.
What can we do?
What do we do? Very good question. First thing we do is we hold the families that own the minerals in this country accountable. That's the first thing. We sit down and we say, look, we're giving you a timeline. If by this date we don't have this many jobs from young people, we will close down the border to let the minerals leave. The moment you talk about closing borders,
striking,
all basically. Of them will... Look, striking is different because you're just singing and dancing. Yeah, that's not going to affect anybody's pocket. Closing down a border is different. You're closing it. We don't want to sing and dance. No, those things we're not interested. We close down the port in Richards Bay.
How do we close down the ports as the youth? That's what I'm trying to understand.
We could put rocks, we could put stones, we could, whatever way we want to do. If you've got 3,000 young people that are resolute to say, we're going to camp here in Richards Bay, where the port is, we won't allow any of these minerals to leave. Oh, believe me, before an hour, they'll come, people will be paid. The guys will come in and they'll be like, guys, please be quick. How much do you need? If you need 5 billion, they'll give it to you. Even if you need 10, quickly they'll give it to you.
You know what I'm instantly reminded of? That whole saga, is it Mariakana?
Yes, yeah.
When the workers were looking for an increase.
Yes.
I'm thinking when we try to do that automatically, I'm thinking police, I'm thinking bullets. It needs serious...
They can't kill all of us though. Yeah, they might kill some. Some of us might have to die. It's okay. We'll die.
Do you think we have enough youth to have that?
My hand is up.
Willing to...
My hand is up. Oh, we got 2 hands in the room. Yeah. Enough is enough. We have nothing.
Then you have the power. You have the voice. Why don't you gather those people and actually do that?
That's what we're starting. That's what we're starting with politics. So that so here's the thing, right? If we as young people start by doing that, the issue they'll have with us is, but you never raise these concerns. And that's why I'm going everywhere in podcasts, in news stations and saying, as young people, we are coming. When they ask us and say, but how come you're blocking the border and not starting by talking? Then we can go and say, no, we did talk. we released the podcast.
So this is
We did
phase one of the execution,
This is phase
basically.
one, yeah.
Okay.
The moment we get into government, the first thing we're doing is young people are knocking at the door.
Action.
Yeah, barbarians at the gate. And it's okay. Let them call us hooligans. Let them call us. That's fine. We have no issues with that. No qualms with that.
You have something, yeah?
You know, I was listening to a radio, right? Like a talk show.
Yeah.
Faith Mangope from 7 to 9, I think. She has a talk show.
Yeah.
She was actually she's very concerned, and she's actually actively looking for the pulse of the youth. She's asking, guys, where are you? You are a different kind of youth. What moves you? Why are you not interested? Where's your pulse? She actually invited people in studio to find out, what do you think about the current politics? What do you think about the previous politics? The youth, the June 16 youth compared to this one. What are you going to get yourself? You know, I think talking about the youth actively looking for a breakthrough, economically, it's going to be very important.
You know,
We have to do it ourselves.
Just hearing you guys talk, I'm instinctively thinking of this. You know what I think that the greatest thing they've done from a media point of view? They've done a really great job in making politics a boring game whereby we have no interest. You understand?
Yes.
I don't know what's happening. When you think politics, it all sounds so boring. It all sounds so interesting. It all sounds so serious. It's for old people. So I think one thing that would be a key to bringing more youth involved is finding creative ways to make politics cool. I don't know how you
Lateral
can do that,
thinking, yeah.
but not cool in the sense of just throwing events. How do you throw it into the conversations,
Yeah.
awareness, and I think maybe
And getting it. So here's my chat, right? We need to create young billionaires for politics to be cool, right?
Okay.
And let me put it in this way. I almost said our parents, but okay, I wanna put it in a different way. If you go to our uncles, right, that are in their 50s and 60s, and you ask them, is Edwin Sodi living their life, right? They'll be like, yo, that man ruined our future, but he smashed this girl. He smashed this girl. He's got this house. He's got this car, right? And then you ask them a follow-up question and you say, how did he get them? Like, no, very politically connected. He's very, in politics, they protect him.
Yeah.
Then you ask them a follow-up question and say, what were you doing?
While he was being connected.
Right? Then they'll say, no, man, I was pursuing, I was watching, some of them are not honest enough to tell you, right? Then the fundamental question, this is where I've nipped the difference, right? I said, so you're telling me that the life Edwin Sodi is living now, you lived that life in your 20s and your 30s. You say, yes, I was with the girls, we were clubbing with this.
It was rocking.
Yeah, what was he doing? Oh no, he was with the politicians, he was an activist, he was this. Okay, so now he's doing this at a later stage, right? I'm going somewhere.
I see where you're going, yeah. I see where you're cooking.
And where I'm going is it's so unfortunate that people like our Edwin, they've created a life where government is not being seen in the way that it should be seen, which I think is very unfortunate, right? But what do we want to create? We want to create an environment where Arai South Africa is in power. We look for young people, purposely look for them, and say, you're going to be our poster boy in the media space. What is it that you want to do? And you say, listen, I want to build a studio like Tyler Perry. I want to have 5 movies that I want to produce that are going to show all around the world. And we say, how much do you need? You say, right, for this, I'm going to need 100 billion. And we say, here's a task team that's going to make sure that you are better than Tyler Perry, right? We move to a next one. We move to, let's say we get 12, right? We want the whole world to know that you could have only gotten to where you are because the government supported you in creating that. So you become the poster boy of how a government can use the wealth to create that. Now in Dubai, it's like that. You see those guys that are wearing Abu Sheikh. Who's this one? No, they was funded by the government of how? They used the oil money to fund him. He built a hotel. Who's this one? This one was funded by, what did he do? He did this. Who's this one? Same with China. Who's this person? The government of China funded him. Who's this person? In South Africa, our government is the people that are funded are not known. Yeah, they're definitely not known. You know, I was shocked the other day. I was so shocked. The Department of Small Business in this country has funded over 50 podcast studios with over R1 million.
Where are these podcasts?
We don't who exactly.
No, Chief, we need to
No,
investigate that one
Good.
also.
Ask again. You can ask that question again. Where are these people?
Is that the department run by Parvin Gordon?
No, small business.
Which
Small
one is that
business. That is the one that is run
We
by...
don't even know it.
Yeah.
Imagine.
At the moment, it's run by Minister Stella, but it was run by other ministers before, right?
They spent $1 million,
Yeah, funding podcasts.
50 podcasts.
Yeah, different ones, right?
In South Africa.
In South Africa. The questions you're asking are very relevant, right? Now here's my chat, right? When I go and I look at those names of who was funded, you don't even find a Facebook page.
There's no reflection on social media
there's no
presence.
person.
Ghost accounts.
Patty, Henrietta, Malekane, Schubel. You're like, okay, Henrietta, where is it? Where no, Udulamoval. Okay, this one Udulamo. And you try and follow up. There's no success stories that government is creating. And the issue is young people will always think that the government is what? Pap, because they're not seeing the success. But if the government can change the narrative, and when you ask a question, you're like, why is that guy rich? They're like, because that guy understands politics. You're like, yeah? All I have to do is understand politics. You see young people studying hey, Thomas Sankara, what did he say? You know, they start, and what we're doing is we're creating a generation that understands the truth. What's the truth? 50% of all the money in the country belongs to the government. That's the truth. It's not a lie. So everybody, you know, and it's so unfortunate. I mean, people like Umam Keys, her businesses come from government. You know, but of course it will never be shown in that way because I don't know, our government is not doing a good job of empowering people in a sustainable way so that they tell the story of government properly. It's weird, it's dodgy, it's corrupt, it doesn't make sense. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the government starts to do that, where we start to tell stories. We have a top 100 successful black entrepreneurs in the country. What's the rating? Once you're number one, government supports you, this, that, and the other. And we have young people competing like nothing on earth. So you'll be like, dude, my podcast is better. No, mine is better. Look, if you've got a podcast with this many subscribers, the government is willing to do this, do that. We advertise on certain podcasts. We
Transparency. I think lack of transparency is what has made everything.
But also, we don't have young people there. And let's be honest about this. If a young person is in government, you have a better chance of accessing them than an old person.
True.
Yeah, they have a better chance of listening.
But also, a young person has a better chance of putting his brews on.
Yeah, but who are his brews? His brews are young people.
Yeah.
His brews are young. So if I'm in government, I'm going to put you on. Where's the problem?
So when the Grootmans are putting Grootmans on only, we
Ah,
must put each other on.
So now
Okay, I
if
got you.
the
I
young
got
man's
you.
putting
I got
whatever
you. And we get the money to circulate within the youth.
amongst young people, and that way it's longer because we're still going to be here for a very long time. And then we start to check each other to be like, dude, you've got 50 million that you will receive from government. What did you do with it? How far are you doing that? What's going on here? I mean, you look at the people that are successful in this country, many of them government projects, but it's not known.
You know, I always say this and I still haven't gotten an answer. I always say, bro, can you tell me 100% self-made person? And this is how I describe a 100% self-made person. Don't tell me about someone who's politically affiliated. You understand? Don't tell me about someone who's inherited their wealth. This is someone who just got it off the mat themselves. And the only people I'm able to think of, maybe I don't know stuff, but I only think of Lechau. You know Lechau, the trip guy.
Lekau.
Yeah.
No.
You don't know?
No, I know him, but the woman that he got into business with, she was funded by government. There was a government tender there.
Is it?
Yeah, government something there, yeah.
Oh, flip.
Yeah.
Then I guess you are the only self-made person.
Look, and I think, you know, even when you say I'm self-made, for me, I must say to you that Bitcoin in itself, I can't really say I'm self-made because there are people that put in their money into Bitcoin, so the price of Bitcoin goes up. So I guess you're right to a certain extent in saying that it is self-made because it's external from government, right? But if we're being honest, in my self-made, in my crypto industry, it is not, I haven't created jobs in Bitcoin. I haven't created factories. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I am self-made, but it ends here.
It's not going out.
It's not going out. And for you to go out in this country, you need two things. One, white monopoly capital, because they still have the money, or government support, right? And I'm talking about the people that are currently at a level where they were not previously advantaged. I'm not talking, because just now some kid who's gone to St. John's is like, no, that's bull. I went to school and I'm like, dude, St. John's costs 200,000 Rand a month or 150,000 Rand a month. You can't tell me that that's money somebody made from a salary. You come from privilege. So a lot of the times people forget that the money in this country sits with government. 50% of the money in this country in circulation sits with government. And I'm saying, as young people, let's go for the bag.
Access to that money. Yeah. I got you.
Let's not be shy. Oh, I want to be in government so I can build more toilets. No, I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to government. We have enough toilets. The toilets issues are peripherals. I'm going to government so that black people, African people, we can create black billionaires, women billionaires in this country that are young. We want to hear more about before 25, somebody's a billionaire. Before 30, somebody's a billionaire. By the way, the youngest billionaire in Africa is 40, I think he's 46 now.
Is it?
The youngest certified billionaire, because I'm sure people say in Zim, they're billionaires. We're like, how do we certify
Can I
that?
ask, as a Rise, what are you guys currently doing right now? I did hear that the vision is to get more people produced by government as billionaires, and that will entice the youth to be more engaged in politics.
Yes.
Do you guys have any strategy as of right now to get, right now the reality is you don't have a billionaire poster boy. What are you guys having in strategy?
Yeah.
What are you guys doing right now to entice the youth where you currently are, other than going on podcasts? What are strategic visions you guys would love to execute? I don't know if you get me.
I do get you. So maybe to break it down, and I mean, the reason why I'm using these words is so that the podcast people can get it, right?
Okay.
But behind the billionaire poster boy, there's a factory, right? Let me give you an example. Let me use you as an example.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I come to you, I'm president now. I'm like, listen, we need a vehicle.
Yeah.
You're like, President, what do you mean? I'm like, we need a vehicle. I'm like, hey, what do you mean? I'm like, go out and dream about a vehicle, right? You come back, you're like, President, I have an idea. I'm like, what's the vehicle called? You're like, it's called Chat's vehicle. I'm like, man. Tesla is not Tesla vehicle.
Yeah.
Let's drop the vehicle. Let's leave the vehicle as Chats. I'm like, what's the vehicle? And you're like, no, Chats goes from 0 to 500 speed per hour. Chats does this. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's produce Chat's vehicle, right? I'm like, for you to produce Chat's vehicle, I need you to have 55% women in the company. I need you to employ 300 people. Let's do a prototype, right? What do? You're like, okay, President, I've got 300 people employed. I've got Manana now as a 50%, a lady. She's a woman, as a 55% shareholder. I'm like, okay, brilliant. Here's 10 million, right? Go and design and develop this concept. Here's 300 million to produce the first car, right? You go and you design, you produce the first car. When you're done with that, we then say, right, we need factories. You own the IP for the vehicle. We find another young person. Dude, you like building stuff. We're going to send you to Tesla for 6 months. They're going to train you on how to build a manufacturing thing. Then we're going to steal 12 of Tesla's best engineers. We're going to offer them more money. They're going to move from America, come to South Africa. They're going to build exactly what Tesla has, but 10 times better. Here's 2 billion for that project. The Tesla engineers are like, nope, 2 billion is too little. We need 12 billion. I'm like, cool, here's 12 billion. Now we've got the Tesla engineers. We've got your car, South African Chats vehicle, or Chats.
Operator's vehicle, yeah.
Oh, operators, okay. The operator truck. Now we've got a factory that's building the operator truck, right? Then I go to a third guy, and I'm like, dude, you're really good at selling stuff. Here's 2 billion for you to build dealerships so you're going to sell operators. Operator 4x4, operator operator, whatever. And then the guy is like, cool, I'm going to do that, right? That's our 4th billionaire. Then the next guy, I'm like, dude, we're sending you to America. Go and get Tyler, she's South African, to do her next music video with the operator vehicle. Tyler's like, no, we don't like the color. We're like, okay, wrap the color, make it sparkle. Hey, do this, do that. Tyler's like, okay, cool. I've got Paris Hilton on board. Paris Hilton's like, listen, I need $15 million. I'm like, pay the $15 million. They pay the $15 million. Tyler and Paris Hilton are driving in the operator vehicle in LA in a banger of a song.
Yeah.
And now all the other young kids in Japan are saying, I want to drive the same car that Tyler's driving. What's it called? They're like, it's an operator. Where's it from? South Africa.
Yeah.
I need a daddy. And now we're shipping where? To Japan. Now people are saying, okay, we love Tyler's music. We love her car as well. She's the face of operator car. Nigeria is now our new market. Do you see that in that whole train, there's so many jobs, so many industries, and they are poster boys. Look, what is a poster boy? A poster boy is somebody who's willing to use their name to drive a propaganda.
Yes.
And we need to be honest about this. Human beings follow humans.
Of course.
That's how cults work.
Influence.
Let's create influencers for products and goods and services.
The right influences.
That will be, yes. But the influencer doesn't need to own everything. You just produced, and you might be angry with me and say, it was my idea. I wanted the factory. No. You've just produced. What are you going to do after that? You're going to be like, you know what? I want to make a different car now. And not operators. Now you're going to make, what's the other word that you've got? Now you're going to make another car, you know? And now when you're making that car, you're like, government fund me. I'm like, nah, we're not going to fund you. But now you're like, okay, I'm going to go to Dubai and I'm going to tell them that my first car did well. We've created a whole beast out of you now. Now we've moved to the next industry. Somebody else is saying, I want to create a clothing brand. We're like, okay, let's study clothing brands. They're like, listen, Shein. I'm like, Shein is a small boy. So all you're telling me is I need to create an app that's fast to deliver and that's fun and create people are like, no, but Shein has different styles. I'm like, cool, let's bring in our designers. Now we're competing with Shein. Do you see what we're doing?
Now I feel you.
And that's what other countries do. Here in South Africa, we don't know. We are on our own.
You sound like you're very well traveled and exposed. Which of the political administrations and economical systems do you admire as RI's South Africa, and why?
Good question.
And why?
I think so individually, and I mean, RI's South Africa, we've looked at Singapore, we've looked at India, we've looked at our peers, you know. But one system that I really admire is America.
Is it?
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have argued with me, fought with me about it, but what I really love about America is something very odd, and I think we don't have it here. Americans love Americans, right? If there's a war in a country, right, and they're like, South Africa's been invaded, there are bombings, the first people that will exit this country will be Americans. America will send warships, flights, everything to come and pick up what? American citizens. And for me, they've implanted in the minds of Americans that you are the most important citizens in the world. In America, when you build a product, you can't ever say, when they say, so how are you going to go to market? There's a word in America everybody uses, go to market. What's your go to market strategy? Americans never say, well, we're going to go to America. No, Americans say, we're starting with America and we'll end off with Africa. In America, whatever we produce, it goes to the world.
Oh, yes.
Music. So for me, what Americans have done, it's like a cult that they've created. If an American citizen is caught anywhere, they'll be like, I'm American. And everybody will have to be like, oh, we're sorry, we didn't know.
Sense of pride in their identity.
And automatically, whatever an American produces, they have to know that I'm American. It has to be good. It has to be. So for me, it's to say, hey, South Africans, we've treated our people so bad to the point that if you're in a war zone, the first thing you're thinking about is not calling your country. To call South Africa, you'll be thinking, who am I going to call? Who's going to come? You know? And even if you die, you're thinking, will South Africa even... If Americans die, we've lost 2 American soldiers in the Afghan war. BBC, everybody's reporting an American. And I'm like, hi, in South Africa, Cape Flats, 8 people have died already. It's not even 8 o'clock. And the news is quiet. In America, there's been a shooting in a school where 3 people have died. And I'm watching this news and I'm like, 3. In South Africa, in the Cape Flats, we've got 27 people that died in one day. America, the whole America, the president is coming. You know, let's hear from. And you're like, hi, it's just 3 people. And I remember I said to somebody, I was like, Americans, stop it. It's just 3 people. And they said, 1 American life is so important. You must never say. And I said, hey, in South Africa, people die every other day and we're just passing by, you know. And South Africans grow thinking that, in my own country, I'm just, it's just what it is, you know. But in Americans. So for me, the one thing I admire is the American nationalhood and branding. And the honest truth is they really don't have much. I mean, I've been to America, branding, some of the places, it's the ghettos of the ghettos, you know, but the branding behind it. And when you sit with an American, they're like, dude, I'm from America, from the States, you know. So for me, it's to say, let's brand South Africans properly.
I think we're on the right track. From like I sense a growing sense of pride in South Africans and their identity. Especially, I've been telling people that, bro, do you realize South Africa? I feel like social media has put South Africa on the map, and I'll explain. Amapiano has given South Africans a sense of pride. It is now internationally known. Yes, Nigerians try to steal the sound, but it's now there's a bigger sense of pride to be South African right now. The Rugby World Cup, the sports, rugby, Bafana did well in AFCON. Recently, a UFC South African fighter won. Tyler's been international. Uncle Waffles has been international. I think we are on the right journey from a media perspective.
We're not. We're not. And let me maybe break it down to you, right?
Okay.
Beyonce goes to Europe. The economy of Europe grows by 4% because of Beyonce's presence there.
Okay.
Right? What have they done with Beyonce? Everybody in America worked on Project Beyonce. To the point where when Beyonce is coming to the city, the mayors of that city will be waiting. Oh, Beyonce. Michelle Obama is a fan of Beyonce. People think this is all normal. I'm like, no, this is all part of the plan. Michelle Obama, every time Beyonce releases, Queen, you have done it again. We are so proud of you. And people are like, well, this is the moment Beyonce, Oprah's like, Beyonce. They've created a market around Beyonce, right? And they profit from Beyonce. Wherever Beyonce goes, for hotels, flights, there's $1 billion industry around her, right? Here we have Tyler. We are able to profit off Tyler as a nation, right? There's so much we can do just off the Tyler brand, right? And all we think about doing is having her come back home, letting her take a picture with the minister. We are so proud of you, Tyler. And, you know, it sort of ends in that way, right? Here's what we could have done.
Okay, yes, solutions. I love that, yeah.
One, we have the Tyler movie. The Tyler movie is going to be in cinemas.
Hey, that's pushing it too much also now, don't you think? She's already all over our faces now. You are tired of Tyler.
Okay, you'd rather have what? You'd rather have, okay, I'm going to bring it back, right? The Tyler movie is going to be starring, right? The star of the Tyler movie, or in the Tyler movie, we've got a cast of 6 South African actors, right? This movie is going to be selling out internationally in all places, right? Now you've got South African actors, 6 South African actors. Tyler Perry's mom is going to be acted by Connie Ferguson, right? Tyler Perry's grandparent is going to be acted by, now I'm naming South African artists, right? You've got now a movie production that's going to be sold to the rest of the world with South African movie stars that are now latching on Tyler's success, right? Tyler then starts to say, guys, my movie's coming out. It's an international movie. Then we're like, okay, guys, how are we going to make it work? Okay, Taraji P. Henson, come through, or whoever we can get, right? Or whatever American great star, come on board, right? We pump a movie into that. Let's say we pump R1 billion, right? Let's be more optimistic, 2 billion, right? Tyler's story, we crafted, we created. When that story drops in cinema, it makes or it sells 6 billion, right? We've not only made 3 billion, we've created more South African superstars. Now people are saying, wow, who was that woman from South Africa? This is just a movie, right? A brand is born, right? Yeah. Then the next thing we do, we're like, Tyler, okay, forgive me, guys. I don't know too much about ladies' things in per se. Yes, I'm just going to throw it out here. I might be wrong. Yeah. A crop top brand, right? Yeah. Or a earring brand. I might be off. You
spot on. Yeah, those are trendy things.
Then we create a factory. We're like, this is the factory that's going to be creating a clothing brand for Tyler, right? And this clothing brand is going to do a feature, or it's going to partner with, I'm throwing it out here, an international clothing brand, Adidas maybe, right? Let's go with Adidas. Now we've got a factory where people are now working, young people are working, jobs are being created. I'm just using Tyler as one example, right? And at any point, please let me know if you think it won't work, right?
I have my strong reservations about it working.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'll give you an example and say we'll always bring it back to Beyonce, right? But let's continue. When we move from there, we then move on and say, right, we're going to do a Tyler Phillip F&B, right? Tyler Phillip F&B was selling the rights to Netflix. That's another industry that's born there. Okay. Out of everything I've said, right, we've just created R1 billion on the way to dollar industry that South Africa is benefiting from, right? Ask me where this was done. Tyler Perry. Not Tyler Perry.
Beyonce.
Tyler, no. What is her name?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Taylor Swift, when she started, she had people that bought into her brand and that invested into her brand. To the point where we all know that Taylor's always tried to buy back her music, buy back her masters. We all know about that, right?
Yeah, I followed the story. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those guys invested $200 million into her, invested into building. So they basically own Tyler Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah,
Taylor, sorry.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's
I know
okay,
fans
it's okay.
will butcher me for this.
Yeah.
I might not be a fan of Taylor, but we respect Taylor. But they've created an industry out of her that the whole America benefits from. By the way, if you look at Universal Music, you look at all these record music bands, they benefit from there. You look at hotels, you look at museums, you look at concerts, they benefit from her, right? Taylor Swift is a money-making system from Americans because the people in America know how to make money. Why is our Tyler only benefiting the minister taking a picture of her? Why are there no people that we can show that jobs will be created? Why is she not becoming a billionaire on the way?
Something?
Why are we not creating this industry? Because it is possible. Why is it that the whole world must be focused on Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber? Why are all these people the industries that have been created? And yet here in South Africa, we are just happy that she won a Grammy. Well done. Clap our hands. That's it.
It wasn't milked enough.
We must all benefit from what the country has.
It's produced, okay.
We can create jobs from what is there. And I don't think she'll have an issue with this.
I think I understand where you're going with this. I think it goes back to that thing of having a poster girl or poster boy of what the government can do. For example, think about what he's saying regarding Shoma Josie. Shoma Josie should have a doll by now. Shoma Josie should have a store by now with all the pink tutus, coloring books, school bags for kids and for adults, or a hair salon as well where they do all these hairs in December, but even throughout the year. So now you're sitting there with all this amazing ideas and you're a brand, but you don't have support, you know? But it will give someone an idea that, you know what, my government is going to support me too.
No,
I see where that's going.
I think this one is very easy, guys. It goes back to what Cloudy was fighting. Remember, Cloudy was fighting that, was it 80% local media?
Yes.
The reason we worship Americans are able to make big brands is because this is another biggest thing that Africans do. We are always pushing external stuff in our media spaces.
It's not us, it's America. But it's America that pushes it. It's America loves their people and they're like, the South Africans must see our people.
No, but why is South Africa allowing
not doing the same?
Allowing Channel O to play Kanye West?
No. Channel O does. Okay, so here's the thing, and I love that you said this.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I love that you said this. Yeah.
Play MT only.
Hold on.
Because MT is not playing in America.
Yeah. But
Saudi tried that.
Yeah, but okay, this is what I'm saying, right? So America will say, we are producing music in America. Then they'll say, or a movie, right? Then they'll be like, okay, we'll have it in America, then we'll sell it to Europe, then we'll sell it. Then they're like, we'll sell it to Africa. Then they're like, no, Africa can't afford us. Then they'll be like, fine, give it to them for free. So SABC is now like, okay, we've got an American show, My Wife and Kids.
For free,
or it's
why
costing
not?
so little. And South Africa's like, why not? Who was the mastermind? America. So I'm saying, why aren't we thinking like America? Let's also create a movie about Tyler and give it to America for free if we have to.
They won't play it.
No,
they will not play it.
But
you
remember,
know that.
if they
They're intelligent.
If we spend
they
$2
won't
billion,
play it, bro.
if we
Do you think they'll play it?
I think they will.
They're playing Tyler's
I think
music.
they will.
They're playing water.
I think
Because
they
it's
will.
good.
Yeah, so our movie will be good.
You know what I would say, bro? You know what I would say? I would say, let's get our people in power to stop receiving these free gigs. You understand?
No, but you can't do that
These
because
free movies.
we're in a global world. You can't do that. It's like saying, let's stop South Africans from watching Netflix.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying stop allowing South Africa to watch Netflix. They've already executed this a bit. With more funding in the industry, in the spaces, you create more superstars. Superstars are born through money and funding. You understand?
Yes.
The reason I will not watch a local thing and watch an American one, it's because the American one is properly funded. The lighting is better, the audio is better, the script is better.
Our government must also do what? Fund properly and plan to infiltrate the other countries as well.
And I'm saying before even infiltrating the others, let us make sure our local audience on its own is properly.
We'll come together, yeah.
You understand, yeah? No, I get your lot. Manana, have you got any questions?
Cloudy's efforts didn't go to waste.
He really did a lot for the game. He really did.
Went to
Really
waste.
did,
I see a lot of black productions getting fame. Boshaka Ilembe. Now they are doing Mujaji.
And slowly it's getting international recognition.
Yes. And for me, what I was saying to somebody was, Ish, I want to say this, but I'm like,
it's open
private
chat.
information, but hey, Baba Patrice, if I've contravened, you'll forgive me. Remember me when you fund political parties, Baba. I heard that Patrice bought a piece of land in the Western Cape, in Platinum Bay, right? And he wants to build studios like Tyler Perry Studios, right? This is Patrice Motsepe. I heard that the deal fell through because there was a mayor who wanted a cut and this and that, but basically there were people that wanted to build Tyler Perry-like studios in South Africa, and they chose Cape Town. They chose the place close to Cape Town, Platinum Bay, to do it, right? And I said to somebody, and I'm now reading that Patrice wants to buy DSTV, so I think he's probably thinking in that way. I'm not sure the way it's going. But what I want to say is that's what our government needs to focus on for jobs. We need to have poster boys that will just stop being poster boys for mining. And say, imagine we know Patrice, okay, he's just mining and he's moving raw goods. No, poster boys that will create jobs and we allow them to become, because that's what white people did. How about Johan Rupert and all these guys? These were poster boys that the apartheid regime created to ensure that they become the ballers of that day and the big boys of that day. And they created jobs for their people. So we need that. We definitely need that. And I think that the best people to create that is young people.
Okay. Sorry, Jens, how many minutes are we on? I just don't know. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up soon. Okay. No, I hear you 100%. Yeah, Manana, have you got anything?
Yeah. Education. Let's talk about education and are we taught the right things at school? Is our curriculum still relevant?
That one is a sad one, hey? Look, I'll be honest from the get-go and say that I think that the education in Africa was created for us never to know how things actually work. I think that along the path, there was a spy that was sent from another country. Yeah. You know Romeo and Juliet? They wrote a story in Europe and they said, make sure everybody buys the story. That's what happened. And I think a lot of our education is producing people that are not thinking correctly because it was sort of planned. So I think our education must be changed. It must definitely change. And
what are your proposed shuffles in the system?
Look, I think firstly, online education. Okay. So everybody must be able to finish matric online if they want to.
Oh, okay.
Right? So what I'm saying is, if a child is learning mathematics from a teacher in a village who has been failing mathematics for the past 4 years, every matriculant fails mathematics, that child should have access to online where they can watch a teacher who knows what they're doing and be able to learn mathematics from them. So I'm saying put the educational system online and make it simple. Then what you do is you create Forex out of education, right? And I like your in there. You then say, guys, if you're going to study blockchain engineering, when you graduate, you get a 250,000 Rand funding grant from government to build an app. What am I saying by Forex? Remember, Forex says, come trade, you'll become a millionaire. Now we're saying, come study, you'll become what? Rich.
Or you're giving students incentives to study
on specific industries. So now everybody's saying, I want to study to become a blockchain engineer because I want to get 250,000 Rand grant. And now people are saying, oh, why did you become a blockchain engineer? They're like, well, it was because of the grant, but now I've come to realize that it's the right thing to actually study, you know? And then we start doing stuff like artificial intelligence, how to prompt engineer, how to build a ChatGPT. We put financial assistance in certain educational programs that we need as a country, right? The others will leave them as they're there, because here's my chat. My chat is that a lot of people say to me that we have universities, but in the hard courses, nobody wants to study them. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think that the hard courses in university are just not, the incentives are not there. If somebody's going to study how to become a scientist and create medicine, and then they're realizing that someone who studied it is unemployed, of course they're going to be discouraged. There's no, the end of the tunnel is not there. So I'm saying let's create incentives for the end of the tunnel so that we have this young people that are aggressive when it comes to the right type of education, because at the end of the tunnel, they can see that there is a light there. And we'll definitely fix the whole education system to start teaching people how to actually be owners and producers.
What do you think the future looks like for the middle class and unemployment? And I'll explain what I mean. There's currently unemployment in South Africa. With artificial intelligence replacing a lot of jobs being automated, with you suggesting online education. Online education means less need for teachers, because a single teacher through online access can teach even 300,000 students. That's a possibility, With schools going online, we're cutting down teachers, we're cutting our whole economy of grass cutters, of teachers, of people selling in the tuck shops. Not just your proposals, but I just want to know, what do you think what do you think that the future looks like for the middle class? Because what AI is looking to do is, because AI is so expensive, it needs capital. This is something the rich people are able to afford and buy these things and remove the jobs that are done by what do you think the future looks like for?
Look, so here's my chat. And I said this to somebody. I said, the sad part about it is that if we don't vote correctly, right? If things don't change after this election, it's chai for South Africa. I hope I used that term correctly.
I used it spot on.
I used it, it's chai. Like, if they don't vote correctly, I was saying to somebody, I said, look, I'm at the point in my life where I want to be able to say to God, God, I tried.
I did my best.
They didn't listen, And for me, that's my conversation, to say, if this election comes and we don't vote correctly, let me go be like Elon Musk and so donate to South Africa. I'll send donations, I'll do the charity work, because we are at a very critical stage where a lot of us know that the world has changed. I like what you're saying, where you're saying, as much as people are saying to us, no, you can't be talking about technology, you need to talk about bricklaying, you need to talk about plumbing. I'm saying, okay, if you want to talk about plumbing, that's okay. Because we have no interest. I'm not interested in bricklaying. I'm not interested in plumbing. Not to disrespect the industry. No.
Of course.
What I'm saying is, show me a future where plumbing is profitable and bricklaying is profitable. Show me that future. If you're telling me that there's machines that are going to be laying bricks, why are you letting me learn something that a machine is going to be doing? Does it make sense? So I'm saying to people that, guys, we need to face reality here, to say the government that we've got at the moment does not understand where the world is going and where money is going. We need a government that does understand that. And I'm not being cocky and saying vote for Mpho or vote for no. I'm saying let young people lead. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we still have the same 60-year-olds in parliament after this election,
nothing's going to change.
We might all start planning. If those that want to be successful in terms of global success, we might start planning our immigration. But let me bring it back to this, to say, how do we then integrate and deal with it smoothly? Because I think there's also that chat of people saying, but we fear that all jobs are going to become obsolete. Everything is going to happen so quickly. Here's the chat. I'm saying to people, we've already got a good stance with the 350.
The grant.
Good, the grant.
It's good, the
right?
one also. Yeah.
We've got a good foundation, right? Let's put on top of the foundation, let's build the structure, right? Everybody in the country gets 350.
Everybody.
Right? No, I'm saying, well, right now it is everybody who's unemployed.
It is like that.
Okay. Country, Must never forget, in this country, majority are unemployed. And by the way, the dodgiest thing about it is that a lot of more people qualify. But anyway, let's not get into it. After that 350, I'm then saying to everybody, right, we have an online course that allows you to study a diploma in a relevant industry. If you pass the online course, your 350 moves to 550.
Okay.
Incentives. If you study, it moves the incentives, right? Yeah. We start to gear the nation in the right direction as to what should be done. Because the true chat is Elon Musk and them are not going to wait for Africa to catch up. They're not going to slow down. They're going to continue. So we need to be ready. But also, there's also the social aspect of things, to say we must slow down technology to make sure that we do catch up. I'm for that, to say some of these technologies are growing too fast. Some of them we need to literally make them illegal. And those are some of the things we need to do. For example, the way that ChatGTP is growing, we need to get to a point where we start making some things illegal. Yeah, because there's certain things that have just become unacceptable. Very unacceptable. You can't have an AI app able to edit a video from start to finish. And
That's
what
a
our editor's
lot
going to
of,
do.
yeah.
So we need to start creating new jobs to say you are an AI detective. Siti Baba, we are arresting you. What did I do? You've created a video that you earned money from, which is, so those industries must start to happen where we start to police certain things to say you can do certain things, but to a certain extent, it's a bit like how everything else works in life. You can take protein shakes, but to a certain extent, to a certain extent. So we do need to start regulating it as well.
Yeah. No, the AI is definitely here to change jobs, because even with us, the production, this is how it works. We have a sound guy, and we have a graphics guy. Then we have a video editor who links everything. And recently they've launched an app that does everything in a click of a button. And automatically, do you see how many people are losing jobs and everything? Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy. Now, Mpho, thank you so much for coming to Open Chats podcast. Big thanks. I really appreciate it, man. This has been my first interview in a very, very long time. I used to do interviews previously, and I just wanted to ask you this question. What gave you the confidence or the balls to come to Open Chats podcast? Because the nature of the conversations you do, I don't know if you are aware what happens in this podcast. It really goes down.
No, I'm not. I'm not. So there's one thing that I've learned about myself, and I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. No, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, but it's an interesting thing, right? So there's certain things that I've also learned spiritually. Like I've mastered atmosphere, right? Like how do you create an atmosphere that makes it known that your atmosphere does not allow that or this or the other. So wherever I go, I've always told that they've had to change the way that they do things because they knew that I was coming, right? But I've also come to learn that I think it would be nice to see the other side of the things as well, So it would be nice to come for a different day where we do the Open Chats sort of format. I did look at what you guys did, and I think that the one thing that I appreciate about what you're doing, number one, I always say to people that it takes so much effort for a black young person to start a business in a country where there's load shedding, there's rapid unemployment, there's no funding from government, there's no support, there's pull me down syndrome on Twitter. So the first thing, and I asked the guys here to say, oh, what's going on? And they told me, no, it's 3 years. And the first thing I want to say is you guys have done very well. And congratulations on the great work that you're doing. Man. I think this is amazing. And the second thing that I want to say is that I believe that change is coming in South Africa.
You think so? Yeah, I wanted to ask you that.
That change is coming, yeah. And when change does come, I think people like yourselves are going to be on the perfect angle to be able to implement change. Where budgets that were given to television to teach young people skills, like right now we're discussing ChatGTP. When we're in government, we're going to be saying, all right, guys, you guys have got a podcast. How many viewers do you have? Right, for every young person you teach ChatGTP to, in a classroom, we'd be spending 4,000 Rand. We're going to give you 4,000 Rand. And you guys as a podcast, start a school of ChatGTP that's funded by government. And at the end of the day, we come and ask you, right, out of everybody who learned from your podcast, they do a test. The ones that pass, we give you 4,000 Rand per student. And you're like, what? How much is that? And we're like, well, teach as many as you can. And you're here saying, guys, come on, we're all learning.
Pushing
Operators,
we
are operating, we are in class, And immediately we've got young people. I don't know how many you'd produce, but maybe let's say you produce 500 young people. Let's do the maths. 500 times 4,000. That money comes to you because what have you become? A school. We would have had to find a piece of land, build a structure, train teachers. After training teachers, we would have spent billions of rands for people to learn about ChatGTP. And the moment the school is opened, we've now got another one called CTP, which is better than Chat.
ChatGPT.
So for me, it's to say these platforms, when we're in government, these are the platforms that we're going to be using. Teaching women how to do self-defense, how to approach GBV, gender-based violence, teaching entrepreneurs how to start businesses. Attention is online. Why is government not using it to teach the nation? So for me, it's to say that what you guys have started is phenomenal. Continue doing it, continue pushing. I believe that podcasts are the future of what we're going to be doing in South Africa and all around the world. We're already seeing it in other countries, but I truly believe that we're going to be seeing certain changes. And for me, it's just to say, keep pushing. And everybody who's viewing and watching, please support him. And I mean, the sponsors out there, they should support these sort of initiatives. And I look
One last
forward.
personal question. What are you currently working on a personal level within yourself?
What am I working on? I work on a lot of different stuff.
About yourself.
I think about myself, it's dealing with the whispers of failure.
Okay.
So when I was very young, I had a very strong mentality of believing that whatever I'm working on will not fail, right? Because I think when you're younger,
you're more confident.
You're working on smaller stuff.
Gullible,
And the older you go, the more you hear more negative stories from older people, There's been a lot of people that have said to me that what you're trying to do in Africa won't work.
It's not going to work, okay.
Yeah, they've always said to me that Africa's a dumb site, like accept it. Don't try and change it. Things in Africa will always fail, and people have often said that, you might speak to as many people as you want, they're not going to change their minds. You're wasting your time. Yeah. South Africans are lazy people. South Africans don't believe in the future. They don't deserve to be rich. People have tried, So it's those voices of saying, no, man, South Africans are smart. South Africans will get it right. These things will work out. So it's blocking out those voices and saying, these are negative words, and I believe that I'm going to be able to change them. So I've been working on that. And whenever somebody says something about South Africans, I always quickly just deal with it in my mind very quickly. People saying South Africans are lazy. I'm like, nope, they're not lazy. They just don't have access to the right opportunities. And ensuring that internally in my world, I see South Africans the way that I believe them to be. Because there has to be somebody who sees it first before it happens.
I'm thinking of this quote. I never used to relate to it. This thing that says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. Do you ever sometimes get those fears? And let me phrase it like this: fears of. Do you believe in the concept of fear of success? Sometimes you get overwhelmed by the possibility of your thing actually happening, and you kinda ruin it yourself. But it's all self-sabotage.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Do you go through such things? And I want to also link it into your dreams are too big. Sometimes they feel like they're too big, you get discouraged. Sometimes they're too big, but you believe it's going to happen. But that fear of that possible success, the self-sabotage goes in. Do you experience any of those things?
Look, I think the fear definitely. I experience fear differently, right? So yeah, I'm built a little bit different, and I think that's the interesting part. So I believe in heaven, right? I'm Christian, so I believe that one day when I reach the end of my life, I believe that I'm going to stand before God, and He's going to judge me, right? And I believe that after He judges me, there is an afterlife, and I believe that what happens to you now is a test of what you will have or achieve in the afterlife, right? So I live every day thinking about that time to say, I don't want to get to the afterlife and realize that I wasn't able to achieve all that I had to achieve. So that's my fear. So I've moved fear into the second life, right? So in this life, I fear nothing.
Okay.
Why? Because this is the test. Here we are in the test match. The real match is coming, and that's the one I fear, because I'm like, whoa, when I get there, you can't be like, no, Baba, give me a second chance. I want to go back to Earth. No, dude, Earth is closed. Now you're in stage 2, And now in stage 2, I'm like, but why am I struggling? They're like, you wasted your opportunities. You had the first 80 years is the first test you were given. You wasted it, So I find that people who live their life like, oh, after this life, I'm just going to sleep in a grave and that's it. I find that they live this life with like, oh, I'm going to take it with all its ups and downs because one day I'm going to, and I'm like, no, guys, no. We're in a race here. Like there is a God who's going to judge us all, There is a place that we're all going to go at the end of this journey. And because I've believed that, and I think this is where I have to tie it in to say, I love the brainwashing that Christianity has done to me, because the more people I meet who have not yet been brainwashed, I'm like, dude, what are you waiting for? Get brainwashed so you think like us, you know? So every morning I'm waking up thinking the afterlife is going to be blissful because I literally gave it my all. And the fear is if I get to the afterlife and they're like, look at him. Oh, and I also believe that when we get to the afterlife, there's going to be like a prize giving. And that's the prize giving that I'm like, and I've got characters. I'm like, there was a David who said he killed Goliath. There was Paul who rose murder. And I'm like, I'm like, there's Mpho. And I'm like, what was this guy doing? I'm thinking, hey, what will that guy? And in my mind, it's all set out to be like, that life begins in the afterlife, you know? And then I find people that are like, oh, I'm atheist. I don't believe that there's an afterlife. Then I'm like, so what do you believe? Then they're like, no, I live in anxiety. What if I don't? What if I'm... And I'm like, no, why are you anxious about this life? There is another... So I found that our parents also believe that. And they didn't suffer from the anxiety, the fears and this and that. And I'm always wondering, like, you know, like our parents always sing songs about heaven. Like they'll be like, oh, mom, why are you suffering so much on earth? And she'll be like, no, God will reward me. Lizo Figa. And, you know, they're all like, our day is coming. And like all the songs they sing are all about this beautiful. And you look at these people and you're like, so you're suffering on... And when I caught it, I was like, hold on, this might be the right way to live life because you live life to the fullest, knowing that you're going to be held accountable. And to you, the gratification that's coming is not instant.
Yes.
It's eternal. So my gratification is always that. So that's how I've lived life. And I think my biggest fears is to say, look, if they put me in prison, then what am I going to say? Because the guys like Paul was in prison, Daniel went to prison. So I'm like, that's the part where I'm like, so every day I'm just going to be sitting waiting for that afterlife. But I'm like, if I'm still on earth, if I'm still here,
I'm given a chance.
I'm given a chance. And the prize giving must be
okay, now I have to wrap it up quick. We don't have much time. I just want to have this few questions for you. Then we're going to play a game at the end. Last question. In the position you're in, I'd imagine how much attention you get from women. First question, I just want an answer without an explanation because it's a lead up to somewhere. Are you currently in a committed relationship?
I need to ask my manager whether I'm allowed to answer these.
How are you handling lust and attention from women? Because as a guy, you've got needs. You've got physical needs. How are you handling lust and attention from women?
We've entered the open chat.
Yeah. Just to close it. Just to close it. Yeah. Just to close it. Just that one. That's the only detour I'm taking.
Oh man, how do I handle lust and how do I handle the attention? Look, I think so the one thing that I do, which I think is quite important, is I obsess over the big goals.
Okay.
And things like lust become very small goals. So I do it mentally, right? The big goal is I'm running for president. Right. So let's be honest. If you're running for president, why busy you're running for president?
You've got bigger things occupying your
mind.
President
manje. Say manje, good TikTok about hey, I've seen the president naked, hey, this, hey, that. And my mind automatically says, man, those things you'll deal with them once. You're done with the big goal.
Okay.
So I'd only know once all the big goals. So the moment I'm president, the next big goal is Africa. Let's fix Africa. So I'm like, hi, man. Somebody who's fixing Africa is about busy. Hi, man. So I move the mindset to the bigger goal, and then the smaller goals just become like, no, man, these things are too small for you. Like, hi, man, it's embarrassing for president. But
president is also a human being. When he's laying alone in bedroom at night, he is no longer
Elon
president.
Musk is also an Elon being. And
he's operating that one.
No, he's not.
He is.
No, he's not operating the way you think. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay, that was weird. That's a weird one. Yeah.
Let's talk about Bill Gates again.
Okay.
So I think, and maybe the thing about it also might be the fact that in India and in China, those men also are very similar. They also don't. I mean, I've been to Dubai and I'm like, why are these guys in Dubai? Why haven't I Joli saw? You know, and like everybody in Dubai is covered here. 5 o'clock, they're praying at the mosque. Afterwards, they are. You know, and I think it's because of they have that mentality of like, let's build a big thing.
Okay. Yeah. Mpho, we're just gonna play a quick game. It's 2 games, but it's very brief. you're just choosing. It's a random thing. I'm
Hey,
bringing
we've
two
entered
names.
open chat.
Yeah,
lab.
this is it. This is for the operators.
Oh,
This is for the
yeah,
end. Yeah.
Operators, I apologize. I was not ready.
Yeah. It's a basic game. Just to understand Mpho more, what's your interest, nothing much.
Okay.
Okay, you just pick or choose. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Okay. Chiefs or Pirates? Or Sundowns?
Sundowns.
Okay. BMW or Mercedes?
Mercedes.
Ironic, because
Ah.
he's driving
That's
a
the work
beer.
car.
Yeah. Okay. Open chats or podcast and chill?
Open chat.
Danko. Yeah. Then this is the last one. I'm just gonna call these names and you say the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah. First thing, it has to be quick so you're not given a chance to think much.
Okay.
Instinctive first reaction. Yeah. Nigeria.
Fix it.
Julius Malema.
Sit down with him.
ANC.
Pray for them.
Nhlanhla Lux.
Sit down with him.
Okay, thank you. That's it. Manana, do you have anything to close with?
Yeah, cool one. You're going to be president one day, right?
Yes.
And thank you for giving us hope as the youth. Someone is out there thinking, wow, I can be president as well. You're going to outlive all the policies, undo the gazettes and everything. What would you call South Africa? You will be the president of?
Or are we renaming the country now?
Of course, it's just the south of South
It's
Africa.
a-
Of the hemisphere. It doesn't have a name.
Oh, okay.
Yo, I'd have to think about that one. Hey, I'd have to think about that one because for me, it has to be something with a lot of wealth and power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something. It would have to be something that's very maybe something that has to speak to like this is like the mineral wealth of the whole world. Like it has to be something like that. Yeah. I'd have to think.
And you know, I always say South Africa is one of the most blessed country. I tell this to my dad. I'm like, bro, do you realize that I say South
You
Africa
call your dad, bro?
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
I
nice.
tell him that the women.
How old is he?
I don't know, but he's like he's in his 50s.
But he's dead.
He's an
Okay,
old man. Yeah, he's an
okay,
old man.
okay.
I tell him that the women in South Africa are a depiction of how blessed the land is. We have one of the most we have one of the most beautiful women in the country, and ironically, we have the most minerals, bro. Think of it. You understand? Like, think of it, bro. You check. So I like the explanation you had. Then once again, I want to say thank you so much for what you're doing. You may not know, sometimes you are the poster boy of positive change. You understand? The journey you're doing, others could have reservations. Mpho could have his reservation. You might get criticized, but you have no idea of what you are inspiring with what you're just starting. Whether you succeed or not, but you've done a lot. Sometimes we need someone to give us a dream. We need someone to start to just open. So I want to say big congratulations on you for that. And thank you for coming through to Open Chats. And yeah, that's it from me, the operators. Guys, please subscribe and yeah, email Open Chats podcast for any. Yeah, that's it, guys. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yo, I just realized it's 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock.
Sorry.
Did you postpone it? Yo.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so